Warning, do not go into Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too hungry, especially when your friends have candy. I'm sorry, Steve, I'll pay you back. Alright, so it's been about 4 years since the first Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movie, and I really love the first movie. In fact, I think it's one of the funniest animated movies, probably in the last 10 years. It had a good story, it had a great voice cast, it was really colorful, and like I said, it was also really, really funny. So it's clear just by the advertisements that Cloudy 2 expands on the first one, going for a everything is bigger this time kind of sequel. Flint Lockwood's hometown of Swallow Falls is completely destroyed practically in the first film by the machine that he built that makes food fall from the sky. Now the sequel picks up right where the first one left off. In fact, it pretty much picks up almost before the first one left off. The first 2 minutes or so of this movie are pretty much just a complete recap of the first movie, which to me is kind of a red flag. Just because to me that just says that we know many kids are going to watch this who haven't seen the first film, and we are aiming at kids, and we are aiming low. So right at the beginning we are introduced to a character named Chester V, who is Flint Lockwood's childhood hero and is strangely modeled after Steve Jobs. And he tells everyone that he is going to clean up Swallow Falls, he's going to take care of it, just everyone needs to go away for a while. All the while we know that he has sinister intentions. The Steve Jobs archetype, it serves up some funny jokes, but it mostly feels like it's just completely out of nowhere. And the main problem with this guy is that it's made very clear from the beginning that he is going to be the villain. And from then on, you can pretty much plot, exactly where this movie is gonna go. By the way, Chester V is voiced by Will Forte. I had no idea he was voiced by Will Forte until the end of the movie. For this sequel, we have a different set of directors, and as far as I can guess, that's the main problem. There just seems like there's a little less love here and a little more formula. And the strange thing is that in this movie, I think there were more writers. I think there were like 6 more writers. And the first movie only had like 2 writers. And it just leaves me scratching my head. While you can see glimpses of manic humor that the first film did really well, more jokes in this movie tend to fall flat than actually work. And oh, the food puns. Oh, guys, so many food puns. You have no idea. And I guess I appreciate that the movie moves pretty quickly and it throws out as many jokes as it possibly can. It's just that most of them don't really stick. Now, I don't want to just compare it to the first film, but for a second, let me just compare it to the first film. Now, story-wise, in the first movie, the main focus of the story always centered around Flint, and the supporting cast had defined roles. And in this movie, they're kind of just more or less along for the ride. In fact, there's one character that has so little reason to be there that they pretty much just send him off in the middle part with his own little story going on, and then just bring him back at the end when the script just needs him. I can't really say that I was bored or mad at the movie at any point because the visuals are pretty strong enough that they do a good job at passing the time. Once they actually get to the island, there is this adventurous journey feel to it that is intriguing and pretty much kept me curious most of the way through. And it kind of goes into this Jurassic Park parody storyline that for the most part I enjoyed. I just think this movie plays better when having not seen the first one and not holding it to a certain standard. My point being that animated movies are generally held at a lower standard anyway because they are generally thought of as being aimed at children. When really, that's not true. They're supposed to be aimed at everybody. There is a reason that adults love Beauty and the Beast just as much as kids do. With the exception of Mr. T, who didn't come back this time. Why, I don't really know. Maybe he pitied the fools who wrote this movie. It basically just comes off as subpar, and that's why I give it a C-. While the visuals are impressive and at the best of times really creative, the story is lackluster and it's not nearly as funny as it tries to be. They probably could have let the voice cast of this movie just improv the whole thing and it would have probably been interesting for sure. So, did you love the first movie as much as I did? Or are you a Bill Hader hater? Look at this face. Look at it.